that again.
And welcome to round number 10 of the TFR SuperCup. My name's Rob Sutherland. You are watching the round 10 race from Phillip Island between the GT1s and the GT2s, following the 16 car. The car belongs to a chap called David S. Peterson, who is currently second place in the championship, chasing down Oliver Brandt. Qualification at the moment. David currently has qualified lowly for his stats. Third position with a 1:23.881. About another minute or so left in qualification, so we'll just see what's going on. Currently, Phillip all the GT1s are out qualifying at the moment. Phillip Manzar on pole position with a 1:23.71. And just behind him, sharing the front row of the grid, is David Ward with a 1:756. So very, very close at the top. You're wondering why there's no chirpy Dermot O'Leary sound alike. It's because Will is otherwise occupied today, which means he won't be able to join us. Ernest. Okay, so just going to wait for qualification to come to an end, then I'll take you through the grid. Okay, so the grid for race in the GT1 class. First position is Phillip Manzar, second is David Ward, last time out's winner at Phillip Island. In third position is David S. Peterson, fourth is Ian Rogers. In the that's a second row fully of torque-free racing cars. In fifth position is Oliver Brandt, sixth is Nico Brandt, seventh is Stephen Van Helsingden. In eighth position is Stan Dolog in his second race for Talk Free Racing. In ninth position, Jason Brown. 10th is Robert Laurie. 11th is Chris, and starting from the pits, Gary Hickman. For the GT2, we have Kimmo Sirinen, the championship winner already, because he's that far ahead. He's in first position. Second is John Mallia, who won here last time out. Third position, the red racing car of Toby Bushnell. In fourth position is Eric Vadorf. In fifth is Dave Geimer. Sixth is Victor Bubek. In seventh is Hua Speland. In eighth position is William Piner. And starting from the pits is Bird. Right, okay, so we're just going to wait for the pace car to lead us around on a merry little lap. Quite a short lap in Phillip Island. So 3 minutes. The pace lap. Oh, it's just entering grid. You can see a nice little pink going car of David Ward, front row of the grid, followed immediately with the blue and white and the green and black of David S. Pearson, Rogers respectively. Guys want to shout at us a lot, you can do. We are on Twitter under hashtag TFR SuperCup. Follow us, we are at Glacier TV. Okay, so Phillip Island is a 12 corner track, nice short track that just go around the first corner. It's quite undulating as well. There's about 10-second difference between the cars, types of cars on a lap time. Go around big old corner number 2, the big sweeper. Straights 2, 3. Quite an undulating little circuit, this one. It's going to be quite difficult to pass. And joined by our director, Henry Beckman now. Won't be speaking that much today, he's not too well. But hello, you, eh?
Hey, man.
And you alright? Any predictions for the race?
Come again?
Any predictions for the race?
I expect it to be fairly clean, for instance, but I would say, unlike that, even though I remember David Peterson saying last week that he loved Phillip Island and stuff, I don't think he's going to win the race. I would predict David Ward.
Now, in fact, David and Farouk have been absolutely lining all throughout practice today, and get to see how their race pace and how their racecraft comes together, and how they do with the lap in D GT2s as we come round. I think we just come around corner number 9, down the big dip towards 10, which is quite a sharp bit of braking zone, but it does tuck you in and throw you around that corner number 10. David Ward and Peterson get very, very close. So now we are building around corner number 11 into corner number 12, which is the last corner of Phillip Island. Takes you onto the short start finish straight, and we'll see the pit car is in, so now they are gaining momentum, and we can see very, very early on that Farouk is street crossing the lead. David Peterson just going to the outside now along the pit lane. David Ward gives him a squeeze, and contact already. David Ward, big crash.
Heavily into the wall. David Peterson also having trouble getting back on the track.
So that's 2 down. We can see Nico and Stephen Van Helsington have a little bit of a battle as well with Jason Brown and also Isfan Ballo as well. Let's go back towards the start of the grid again. So Farouk is another accident. Oliver. And someone else go off in the background. That's David Ward. Oh, he's just come back round again. That's an unfortunate start to the event.
Yeah, perhaps I won't make any extra guesses for who's going to win, because I said 2 names and the 2 names were crashed out in turn 1. So maybe I'll just.
So commentators curse straight away. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Farouk is now on his way to streak off into the distance, but there is a battle for 3rd position between Stephen Van Helsington and Ian Rogers. So a quick turn of pace there for Stephen in the nice little matte black Corvette.
Yeah, and by the way, Oliver Brand from 5th place is already up into 2nd because of that crash.
This is absolutely action-packed. We can see that John Mallier is currently sat in 13th position. Right behind him is Robert Laurie, and he's taken the lead from Kimmo Surinam as well. We've not talked about the GT2s much, but absolutely on Kimmo's rear is Toby Bushnell, pushing quite heavily. And then, behind him, Eric Vadorf is being chased down by a recovering David S. Peterson.
Yeah, we might see a good battle with the 4 GTs, since Kimmo is now not necessarily is going to ride into the sunset, because now he's having to deal with the fast car in front of him.
Okay, so we are seeing quite a lot of battles early on, and this might be a bit of a strange race until it calms down just a little bit. I focus on the lead for the GT2s and Open Glacier Racing car of Kimmo. Kimmo is chasing down John Mallier still. Although Kimmo has the GT2 championship in the bag already, quite early on, John is still fighting heavily for 2nd place.
Yeah, it's a lucky one that we don't have HPDs on the track in the TFR series, because the whole week that has been around in a normal Proto GT series or in iRacing, the normal series has been nothing but trouble with the HPDs, because the immense speed difference that they carry through these semi-fast corners. I mean, the hairpins are not an issue because everyone has to brake deep and hard, but these last 4 corners and the long left-hander uphill coming to turn 10, those are the real problem spots for HPDs to deal with the slow traffic, and we've seen a ton of crashes during the week, but now that we don't have them, should be pretty clean.
Right, okay, so we can see David S. Peterson and Kimmo obviously didn't want to lose too much time away from John Mallia, but at the same time Peterson needs to get a wriggle on to get back up into in amongst the Corvettes. Okay, so we are at least 3 laps in. Just going to give you a quick rundown. In the Corvette class, we have Fruit Manzars at lead, Oliver Brandt second place, Ian Rogers third, Steve Van Helsting pushing very hard, is up into 4th, 5th is Nico, 6th Jason Brown 2, 7th Christian Newsland, 8th position Robert Laurie, 9th is the recovering David S. Peterson, and we might see a cracking drive from him, 10th position David Ward, and 11th is Istvan Vlog as well. We need to find out what happened to Istvan. He is currently in the pits recovering. I've got a funny feeling that the damage he may have tripped over a GT2 car, or David Ward, when rejoining the circuit, may well have hit him off. We have William Pinar in pits also. We need to find out what's happened to him, and also what's happened to oh no, we know what's happened to Oliver Brown. He's currently 1.3 seconds, or just under a second behind Farouk, so we've got a bit of a battle hotting up in the GT1 class.
Yeah, and the number 42 Corvette of Stephen Van Helsingen is dropped from 4th into 6th. His last lap was 2 seconds slower than the rest of the pack.
Indeed, so he's had a wobble somewhere along the line and dropped just a couple of places. That's what can happen on a circuit that has a very, very short lap time. Okay, so try and find out big battles going on at the moment. Watching the lead between Mallia and Kimmo as well. It's a very rare chance we can see Kimmo get right up behind John. He just wants to take it quite carefully as he comes around corner number 9, down a bit of a dip. No, we're not at 9 yet. We've got to number 6 off into number 7, swinging round corner number 8. We're just showing the inside, very, very tight around that corner. Gives me a lovely electric speed just up the hill. And they've got to come back round the corner now into the dip, which is an excellent braking zone. Leave that, they both take it pretty much as tidy as you can. Now they just come around the sweeper from 11 and 12 back into another lap, which will be their 5th lap. Now this is the corner where you really want to get the toe and get up alongside someone. Close enough. The gap has fallen to about half a second. You can see it. It's a very, very short gap as they go into number 2. Don's last lap was 1:29.3 and Kimmo's was 1:29.9. And Yannick, these guys are getting very, very close.
Yeah, and my prediction would be that Kimmo's not going to take any pointless chances. I'm betting that his car is full of fuel right now, so he's going to push it to the lead, to the very end. And if Mallia is not going to make any simple mistakes, he's going to pit about 1 lap before Mallia, take the fresh tires 1 lap before, at least 1 lap before, and hit that 1 extra super fast lap on the out lap out of the pits. And exploit that to his advantage. And if he gets by, then I would think that he's going to disappear again, because he doesn't have at the moment any problems keeping up with Mallia.
Certainly not dropping off him. So there's quite a lot of pace there. Further behind as well, Toby Bushnell has dropped off with those last lap was at 1:29.3. So maybe John, with looking in his mirrors, is going to start back Kimmo up a lot, and that's going to allow Toby just to get into a nice little three-way between them.
Yeah, meanwhile, battle for 3rd position is heating up in the Corvettes also, because Nico Brown and Jason Brown are chasing Ian Rogers for 3rd place, and not that close as Mallia and Kimmo are, but I would say if I'd had to take a guess, I would say Ian Rogers is slowing down Nico Brand and Jason Brown at the moment.
Yeah, Ian Rogers, he's in just to make a couple of errors, but Nico is always a hard charger, and Jason Brown we've seen as well, especially last week. He's an excellent racer. Further behind the Jason Brown battle, about second behind is Stephen Van Helsingen as well. He's damage free, just trying to catch back up to that little bit of a train. And we've also got a battle for 8th and 9th position as well between recovering David Peterson and Robert Laurie. In fact, David Peterson has got round Robert Laurie, and there's catching Goose Lane as well. Also, there's not a lot of damage to David's car, and he's able to get back on and drive.
Yeah, David Peterson, by the way, moved up into 8th place last lap. In fact, got past Robert Laurie, and now he's actually closed up to Christian Uslin for P7. So David is on a charge after that devastating start.
Last lap, Kimmo's turning, he's just sweeping round corner number 12 and start-finish straight. We'll just do a quick lap time check for you all. At the end of lap number 7, or the lap number 6, sorry, Kimmo was a 1:29.3. In fact, listen, 3:34 that was, and a 1 minute 29.395 was John Mallier, so very, very close. I've got a funny feeling this might be decided by a mistake by John. We might see a mistake. There's this much pressure going on, we might see a mistake.
And meanwhile, David Peterson took an outside line to the hairpin, turn 4, and got the 7th place away from Christian Uslin. I think Christian just saw that he was by far the faster car, so he just let him by. He took the inside lane, just lifted a little bit before the braking zone, and just let David pass very cleanly. So David now up into 7th, and next guy in his list, Stephen Van Helsingen, is 4 seconds to catch. So it's going to take at least 4 laps for David to catch him.
Yeah, and Stephen posted a 1:26.5 last lap. So. Yeah, absolutely, as you said, about another 4 or 5 laps it's going to take David. He's charging hard because David needs to finish above Oliver Brandt, because obviously Oliver is 9 points ahead in the championship before we take out the equation, all the drop weeks and all that sort of complicated stuff. And Oliver currently is sat just under a second behind the leader, which is still Farouk Manzar.
Yeah, meanwhile the battle for 3rd is still on, and Jason Brown actually caught was down to 0.2 of a second at the end of the front straightaway last time by to Nico Brandt, and I would say Nico is definitely being held back by Ian Rogers right now, but it'll be interesting to see whether Nico is going to attempt an early pass and get away from Jason Brown, or will they try to execute a pit stop strategy to get by. But if the latter one, I would say that's a bad move, because the longer Nico stays behind Ian, the longer it's going to allow Oliver Brandt to just get away from these 3. Gap already 8.5 seconds.
Jason Brown lining up very, very nicely there. There's not a lot of defensive lines being taken by any of these drivers. Obviously, they feel that those drivers are not close enough to take any sort of aggressive action, but we can see that Nico at the moment, obviously his standings, he's currently 3rd, David Ward being out, plays absolutely in Nico's hands as well, because there was just 1 point separating both drivers. However, Nico and the white and black car of Christian Ruslan are the OCB racing team, who are currently just about 20 points behind Torquay racing team of David S. Peterson and Carl McGurk as well. So David S. Peterson floundering in the middle pack of the GT1 cars, and no Carl McGurk this week. So they're going to need all the points they can get for the Drivers' Constructors Championship as well.
Yeah, currently riding on board with Kimmo Suominen in 2nd place in the GT2 class, and chasing John Malia still steady, 0.3, 0.4 of a second. And I couldn't say that John Malia is holding back Kimmo in any way, because both of these guys are lapping extremely fast laps. They're doing solid 1:29.5s. So that's not a slow pace for a GT in a race.
And you can see from qualification 1:27.7, and the practices was 1:28.134. So whilst those time as you said, they can be fueled right up, very, very close, and you can see that they are sort of following quite close. There's not really too many dramatically different lines. Also, it's quite undulating. It's quite a difficult circuit, this.
Yeah, it has some tricky issues. I personally drove a Corvette this time, unlike a normal GT that people used to see me drive. I took a Corvette this time by, and it was actually quite funny to try to set up the Corvette, because when you set up the Corvette to be smooth in every other corner on the track, then you're having serious problems going through the last turn and the first turn, because they're both almost flat-out turns, and you have to get the car the rear end to be loose enough to turn in while you're flat out. But once you do that, it tends to cause you to be extremely loose on in the hairpins, which is a bad thing. So setting up a car to this track is very difficult if you want to be fast through the whole lap. And yeah, the race pace, especially with racing with Corvettes with a full tank of fuel, is slightly easier than trying the empty tank of fuel, because with the empty tank the car tends to push a bit more. So full fuel tank certainly gives you the benefit in the early laps to get the car to turn better, whereas Ford GT has the same effect but on the opposite way, because the full fuel tank is in the front end of the car. It gives you more downforce to the front end when the tank is full, so that gives the same thing but with a different way.
So that was a very, very early Yoni technical interlude there, so hopefully we'll see a lot, or hearing a lot more of those throughout the races. We are on board with Kimmo Suriname, who is 10 laps in and is second position in the GT2 fight. Up ahead of him is the rear of the other GT2, which is led and been driven by John Mania. So just about to see what Yoni was on about. Just the rotation, there's a lot of turning on this circuit. The longest straight is the start-finish straight, and that's not a lot of straight to talk about either.
Yeah, currently Oliver Brandt caught up with Farouk Manzar. The gap down to 0.4 of a second was down to 0.2 last time, by now 0.3 at a hairpin braking. So Oliver Brandt seems very fast now, and Farouk Manzar not being slow, but seems to be way slower than Oliver Brandt. Oliver almost has a chance to peak in the turn 6 right there.
I think Farouk at the moment is in very, very heavy defensive mode at the moment, and Oliver is on the attack. Pokes nose in, just says, oh, I'm still here. They're just sweeping up now to corner number 10 down the hill, which is a big, big braking zone. You've got to stick the nose in because that corner pulls you around. And we've got a first retiree of the race, and that's Isfan Balog as well. He was all the way down in 17th position. Bit of a nightmare with contact earlier. Watching Oliver Brandt and the leader Farouk Manzar.
Yeah, Oliver doesn't seem to be able to follow that well that he should through the last corner in order to get a proper run to the end of the front straight. But Oliver seems to be very fast when he comes to right now turns 2, 3, and 4 up into the next hairpin. The 180-degree right-hander, as we see right here, he picks up the speed, goes slightly wider line, so he tends to cuts in at the very exit of turn 2. He cuts steeper, so he gets early throttle. And now we see it comes under braking to turn 4, very tight line, and opens up early. Yep, over the curb, left-hand side. Not too much that doesn't get the car to slide around. Oliver seems to be fast during the technical part, but when we get to the fast corners, like I said, if his car is set up to be fast in the corners, he does lose in the first and the last turns.
So that's the choice that you make when you do a shakedown on the practice. The practice, these guys practice on the Monday for next week's track. So that's obviously the decision process that Oliver would have taken then. He would have wanted to make the car quick through the twisty stuff.
And meanwhile, Nico Brandt is fast. Nico Brandt is up to third position. I wonder what happened. Ian Rogers just didn't manage to catch it up, but the telemetry shows that shortly, not long ago, Ian Rogers did something, because Nico Brandt just took the place, and he's still 14 seconds behind Oliver Brandt. But yep, that was the opportunity that Nico needed. No dramatic errors from Ian Rogers in the last lap, because he did a 126.6, but let's see what the time shows this time. He had 127.6, so something went on with him. Something went on there. I wonder if Nico just set him up for a pass.
And in the background, you can see Stephen Van Helsingen and the blue Corvette of David S. Peterson. So now Ian has slipped back into Jason Brown's hands. excellent fight here in the midfield of the Corvettes.
Meanwhile, Eric Wiedover's in the pits. Sorry, you mentioned that...
Eric, I believe Eric and William may have had a bit of a ding-dong.
Yeah, it's a third pit stop for Eric Wiedover already in this race. At least according to telemetry.
That's damaging his fight in the GT2 Championship quite a lot. As we can see, Jason Brown just showed himself. We've got 2 fights on now because Jason Brown just showed himself to Ian Rogers and just touched a little bit of dirt, and that's dropped him back a little bit now. But we can also see in the background as well Stephen Van Helsingden and David S. Peterson just getting themselves quite close together.
Yeah, looking at on board with David Peterson right now, going out of turn 10, the deep hairpin, downhill hairpin. And now he tries to get a good grip over the penultimate turn to get should stay a bit closer to the apex right here to get a full throttle out of the last turn. And this front straightaway is doesn't seem that long, but considering the pace you build up in the last corner, you tend to get up very high top end speeds, especially if you have a longer 6th gear that not everyone uses around here, but it is beneficial.
Close to corner number 2, they just saw the when they go around the first corner, just the car just pushing a little bit wide before he was able to get it turned in, but he's right up behind Stephen Van Helsingden now.
Yeah, a lot of people, especially in the Corvettes, a lot of people don't like the car be loose, but that's the...
He showed himself, he's taken that position.
Yes, going for a pass.
So there was zero, zilch, absolutely nada defence from Stephen Van Helsingden. Then he just let David just go up the inside of him out of that corner, and now David S. Pearson is free to make race and catch up with the fight between Jason Brown and his teammate Ian Rogers.
Yeah, as I was saying, that's a compromise that you have to make. That's a sacrifice that you have to make. I mean, a lot of people don't like the Corvette to be very loose, but if you want to be faster on this racetrack, you have to have a loose car, because if you cannot drive your car almost flat out like you should through the 2 turns that I've been talking about, that costs you. Well, personally, as I was setting up my car, I lost 0.5 of a second per lap when my car wasn't turning into the turn 1 and the last turn. Half a second a lap.
Okay, so Nico Brandt's already made himself about a 1.5 second gap between Ian Rogers, and the gap between the first 2 drivers is now just over half a second. Got another couple of retirees. Pinot has retired, and David Ward has officially called it a day, been sat in the pits.
And while we have been speaking with the Corvettes, Kimmo Suominen has found his way past John Malia.
So the pass position at the front of the GT2s between John Malia and Kimmo has been done. I'm just going to back to see if I can find it. It was just coming through corner number 1. Kimmo got on the outside like we saw David Ward and Peterson do at the start of the race, and he just made it stick right around the outside and had the racing line for corner number 2. So a very, very clean and well thought out pass by Kimmo.
Meanwhile,
and we can see Jason Brown and Ian Rogers just had a little look side by side. And I think if we're watching these guys,
yeah, Jason Brown now trying to find his way past Ian Rogers, and as we see, Ian Rogers was holding Nico Brandt back quite a bit, because as soon as Nico Brandt got by, he got 0.6 per lap faster lap times. So now Jason Brown is up for the same task.
That's it. It just depends this early in the race how brave you want to be. We are currently about 26 minutes in the race. Not even a race.
Yeah, true. We're in the early stages of the race, but if you're not acting brave and you just stick behind the slower car for the whole stint, once you finally get past him, your race is basically lost if you want to fight for the lead. If the lead pack is not going to make any dramatic mistakes, so it's up to each driver have to make the pick whether you want to risk it early and be able to fight for the win, or just take it steady and just try to fight for that one place.
Well, Jason Brown may very well have to decide to push Ian Rogers just a little bit more, because just behind him you can see David S. Peterson in his rear view, and he wants to keep attacking Ian Rogers. He doesn't want to have to start defending to David S. Peterson.
Yeah, I would say, if I'd had to make a guess, I would say Jason Brown is surely going to have increase his offensive moves as you see David Peterson closing up behind his mirrors.
And we can see that this time round Jason Brown's still not quite close enough to Ian Rogers, but he did get a lovely little exit out of corner number 12 then. He's closing in on Ian Rogers for the first corner. Is he going to show himself? He does, just shows half car width. Just say, I'm still here, mate, I'm watching.
Yeah, just a side peek, nothing dramatic. So,
Ian
Rogers takes a very wide line, runs very wide, and once you go that wide, it's tough to get your car to turn in anymore. And as you can see, Nico Brandt gets side by side, but now he's in the outside line into turn 4. There is a way to travel all the way around the turn 4, but I don't think he's going to risk it. Nope.
And Peterson almost able to capitalise well. See Ian Rogers swing wide. These guys are going to do side by side.
Ian Rogers went wide, and now Nico Brandt has the optimum line. Nice pass.
And as you can see, it's probably is wise Ian Rogers just let David S. Peterson pass, because David is fighting for the championship. So great little pass. So I said they're going to be side by side for the entire race. I hope the entire lap like we saw last week. That was some great racing from, it was almost karting, wasn't it? Almost sort of like Formula Ford-esque, the way they can get right up alongside each other and just sort of crisscross between all the combinations of corners.
Indeed, and after the few fights that we had, after Kimmo went past John Malia and Nico Brandt got past Ian Rogers, the field seems to settle a little bit.
Okay, there is one more fight, and that's right back in the GT2, so it's a battle for fourth position between Victor Bubnek and Dave Geimer. I think that's probably the next one we'll keep a little couple of laps on before I predict we're going to see David S. Peterson catch catch Jason Brown.
Yeah, currently watching the battle for that fourth place of Dave Geimer and Victor Bubnik, and let's just sit on board with Dave Geimer for a second.
We have just the one Team Shark driver in today. There's no Stephen Geimer. And I'll tell you what we'll do, Yanni, just as they come round corner number 11 into number 12, do you want to talk us through a lap of Phillip Island?
Sure. So, following Dave Geimer here on board and coming to the front straight right now. Start finish line right here, and we get ready for turn 1. Very fast turn, either 5th or 6th gear, depending on your setup and the gear ratios. Just try to maintain some sort of throttle as we go into turn 2. Inside line preferred with these cars. 3rd gear, maybe 4th, depending on the ratios. Try to get a good launch out of the corner without spinning the rear tires. As we see Corvette flying past Dave Geimer here. As we get to the small kink, turn 3, approaching turn 4, hairpin 180-degree turn, heavy braking in the 2nd gear. Try to stay as close to the inside apex as possible. Try not to hit the left side apex in the exit, because that's a very slippery one. Coming to turn 6 right here, take a wide entry, try to stay wide until very late apex to get a car to proper throttling without spinning the tires again. Flat out two small kinks, then up to turn 9, my favorite corner of the whole track. Turn 9, the uphill, long left-hander, and all of a sudden, as soon as it ends, you have to brake heavily into turn number 10, hairpin, which starts downhill, ends uphill, and then turn 11, one of the trickiest corners around the racetrack. You have to try and open the throttle as early as possible, but in the process you're spinning the tires almost every single time when you have to set it up to get a good launch out of that to get the last corner as fast as possible, and you still need to get the car to as close to the left side apex as possible.
So that was a lap of Phillip Island in a GT2 driven quite brilliantly by Dave Geimer and narrated by very own Johnny Bateman. And we can see that the guy, the Corvette that did indeed pass Dave and Victor was the leader of the race currently. That's Farouk Manzar, and he has opened up a 5-second gap between himself and second place of Oliver Brands 13 seconds behind the leader is Nico Brandt as well, still charging, and it looks like we might have just missed this actually. David Peterson has got past Jason Brown.
Indeed, just following David Peterson right here, and not sure again what happened. Tough to for some reason when we're following two or three close battles, we always seem to pick the wrong one. So again,
right, I can just have a little look back, and he lined him up all the way through. I believe it's number 7 sweeping to number 8, and just as they come down into that first big braking zone, in fact that was actually corner 3 and 4, and he just drove alongside for 5, 6 and 7, just closed the door on 7 as Jason Brown had a nice little wobble along in front of corner number 8. Right, okay, so that is a change for the position, and now David S. Peterson has the tricky task of trying to catch down Nico Brandt, who is 3 seconds ahead of him.
Meanwhile,
guys,
in the GT2, the leading duo is Kimmo is not getting away as we've somehow customized to see that once Kimmo gets a clean track ahead of him, he just disappears. But John Malia is not letting him easy. The last lap, there was a gap. The difference between the two drivers was 7 thousandths of a second.
Okay, so Kimmo, who we are speculating that he has an absolutely full to the brim car of petrol, may well be the result that he's still lapping in the 129s. This qualification line was 126s. So fuel plays an absolutely massive part around here in Phillip Island.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination. It's like I said in the early stage in the Ford GT, you have a tank full of fuel and you have more downforce in the front end of the car because the front end of the car is heavier. But at the same time as the fuel burns out, which makes the car faster, the car tends to understeer in the fast corners. But in the same time, you already have older tires, which makes your car a little bit more slippery. So that basically compensates the lack of downforce you have in the front end. So my prediction is that the lap times will not fall off as much as on many other tracks.
Right, okie dokie. So we are currently 22 laps through. We're going to give you a quick rundown of positions. First place, GT1's Phillip Manzar. Second, Oliver Brandt. Third position is Nico Brandt. Fourth is David S. Peterson. Fifth, Jason Brown. Sixth is Ian Rogers. Seventh is Stephen Van Helsingen. Eighth position, Christian Nussland. Ninth is Rob Laurie. And the retirees of GT1's Istvan Balog in 10th position. And David Ward in the first lap is 11th position. So the GT2s, Kimmo Sirinen leads the GT2s, John Malia second position, Toby Bushnell third position, fourth is Victor Bubnek, fifth is Team Shark's Dave Geimer, sixth position is Huar Espeland, seventh is Eric Vedoff, and in eighth position is our retiree William Pinar, and actually Eric Vedos retired as well, which is a terrible shame because Eric is battling pole position in the GT2 Championship with someone who name absolutely escapes me in a minute.
Meanwhile, David Peterson is right on the rear bumper of Nico Brandt here. Just both came past one of the Ford GTs coming through turns 8 and 9. So now, temporarily at least, these guys have a clear track ahead of them. So we'll be interested to see whether Nico Brandt is able to escape from David, or at least last lap David was fastest man on the track with a few tenths of a second. Actually, David Peterson and Oliver Brandt were shared the fastest lap time last time by. This time, Oliver Brandt, the fastest man on the track. Farouk Manzar, second fastest. David Peterson, 6 tenths behind these guys. But still, David Peterson, 2.3 seconds faster than Nico Brandt last time by. So Nico Brandt has had lots of troubles with the back markers.
Probably fair to say that behind that steering wheel, David Peterson's driving very, very angry, I should imagine. He is absolutely charging down. I did not expect him to catch Nico Brandt this quick, but he's actually got pedal to the metal.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that David Peterson's race did not end in that lap 1, turn 1 incident with David Ward. He went so far to the grass that it was inches away. If he had just clipped the sand on the left-hand side, there would have been no chance in hell he would have been able to turn his car back to the towards turn 2. He would have went straight over the turn 2 and might have risked taking out a couple of other Corvettes in the process. But good recovery from David Peterson so far.
Yeah, and obviously he didn't actually touch any wall. I mean, David Ward went absolutely flying into the wall as well, which wouldn't have helped his cause out quite a lot. So you start on lap 24. We're watching David Peterson and Nico Brandt weep down into corner number 1.
Yeah, pretty similar racing lines. As I was talking to you guys through the onboard lap with Dave Geimer in the 4GT, both cars use pretty similar racing lines around this racetrack. The only major exception I can think of is the way these guys approach the fast corners because of the fact that the Corvette seems to turn in slightly better with the fast corners. So the Corvettes take a slightly more aggressive line towards the corners, but fundamentally the lines are very similar. But if a Corvette has to move out of the racing line for some reason, for example when it's going too wide or whatever, the Corvette does have far better chances of surviving the corner fast than the Ford GT. If a Ford GT is forced outside of the normal racing groove, they're usually in a bit of a trouble to try to get back into the groove.
Sorry to interrupt, Yoni. We saw David S. Peterson there take a lovely little different line through corner number 10 that just gave him a little short run up between Nico, but Nico's just driven away. But we have 2 battles and 1 information for you now. We have a battle between Nico Brandt and David Peterson, which we're watching now on GlaciaTV.com, and we also, further back, Ian Rogers is in the clutches of Stephen Van Helsingen as well. That's a battle for 6th position. And the little bit of information I was going to tell you about was that Oliver Brandt, it didn't go unnoticed that he dropped massively back from Farouk Manzar. The reason he dropped back was because he had a little off track at corner number 2 in lap number 16, so that was a while ago now, but that's why, as we can see, David S. Pearson just lined himself up there for corner number 4. He's inside it. We've seen him do this already today. In fact, we've seen, just a little bit wide. Was there a little bit of contact there?
I don't, tough to say from that angle, what I was seeing. Maybe just Nico just tried to carry a little bit too much speed to just try to cut David from cut off David's exit, so David would have to come out of that corner a bit more deep towards the inside of the exit, and just allow him to carry more speed. If they would have gone too wide through the corner, Nico would have had the advantage going into turn 6 with the inside line, but I think it just carried a little bit too much speed, just clipped the grass, and once you clip the grass, the car just goes straight.
So, 3rd position has changed now. David S. Peterson making a remarkable recovery, as we see him very up close and personal with Toby Bushnell in the sister car. That's the Talk Freak Racing side by side as they go into lap number 26 through the first corner. So we have Nico Brandt now is in the clutches of Jason Brown. We're going to see if just that's routed him for the last sort of few laps. It was going to just drop further back into Jason's grasp, or if Nico's going to get the pedal to the metal, absolutely drive the wheels off on a Corvette.
Meanwhile, the battle for GT2 lead is still on. John Malia closed up the gap half a second the last time by. I think there was a Corvette involved getting past these guys, but John Malia close to half a second a lap, well, not per lap, but in the last lap, and the gap is now down to 0.7 of a second. So not so often that we've used to see in the TFR broadcast that the GT2 leading battle would be this hot.
Nico's had another off. How did I miss that again? Nico's had another off, and that was down. Oh my God, that was down in corner number 4. He went very, very long, so he's had an absolute nightmare going there, and he just went right the inside of Toby. Didn't break in time, as we saw him do a lap before, and that's allowed Jason Brown to sneak past. So Nico's day going from bad to worse.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, Oliver Brandt took a small trip, had a small off track in turn 2. That's the one of the places around this racetrack that you do not want to take an off track. It doesn't matter what car you're in. If you go outside of, if you get an off track, the outside edge of turn 2, the car just goes so wide. There's a steep downhill grass right outside of that turn, and it's very, very slippery. As we see Nico Brandt coming through the turn 2 right here. If you look at the bottom side of the screen, that is deep downhill. If your car goes through there, you better hope that you get your car to get it to a permanent stop before you go over that sand trap, because then you're facing the tires and your race is over.
So we see now Ian Rogers up behind, in fact he's behind John. Oh, Nico's absolutely on a charge now, just behind Toby Bushnell again. He doesn't want deja vu to happen again. He's just cutting down the inside now, gets up there. We'll see if that green Talk for Endurance machine of Ian Rogers can also get past Toby Bushnell.
Yeah, that's not one of the most pleasant corners around this racetrack that you want to go too wide. Toby did an excellent job of keeping out of the way, but that's always a scary moment if you have to go outside of there.
Oh, David
went off track.
Terrible for David Pearson. All that work he's done, he has actually hit the wall as well. So he came over that crest on the outside, as you were talking about, got the wheel on the grass, lid in the slow motion, absolutely could not control that, and he just, no, he didn't touch the wall. He got as close as he could get to the wall without touching it.
Now let's have a look at the replay.
Sixth position.
So look at the replay of what went on with the David Peterson up back there. So we're a slightly long replay. It's coming out of the hairpin right now towards turn 6, and I believe the off track was at turn 9, so we're getting into there in about 10 seconds. They're currently, I think it was chasing Kimmo and John Malia right here. Gets caught up behind John Malia's car, if I'm not mistaken. I see the blue and white car of Kimmo Suominen in the top. Now we're coming towards turn 9. He tries to take, yeah, he goes slightly wider. That's the textbook thing that you should not do. What David tried to do is he tried to just open the throttle slightly earlier to get the car to turn slightly wider line, but still have a safe entry into turn 10. But that's the that corner is so deceiving, because once you go on the throttle while you're on the outside line, you simply run out of road, and that's what happened to David. He just right side tires just clipped the grass slightly, and his car just went wide from there on out. And yeah, like you said, that's a climbed all from the last position up into third, and now he's having to do all that work again down into 7th place.
So despite having 19 cars, 4 of which have retired, we've seen a lot of action here at Phillip Island in the Talk Freak Racing SuperCup. And I'm just looking back at Dave Geimer. He seems to...
David is in the pits.
David S. Peterson is in the pits, and we also just having a look at a... Dave Geimer did a 6-minute lap. I'm just trying to work out if that was damage related or if he actually came in the pits. But David S. Peterson, the leader, is in the pits. Maybe he's decided just to come in and get those tyre swaps out, come in for the pits and a bit of fuel nice and early. Although saying that, we are about halfway through the race.
Indeed, and currently Nico Brandt, now in 4th place, is having a small battle with Ian Rogers, but looking at last lap time, Nico Brandt was 1/10 faster, so I think we'd better move back into the concentrate on the GT2 leading battle with Kimmo Suominen and John Malia, which is still pretty hot, I should say. John Malia caught up Kimmo again, 0.2 of a second that last time by, gap down to 0.7 of a second.
I'm looking back as well, and Dave Geimer on lap number 20 had quite a lot of offs actually, so don't know what's happened to Dave. We'll find out later on, but had a bit of a disastrous race from lap 20 onwards. So we're focusing on GT2 battle now between Kimmo and John Malia. Just behind John Malia you can see Nico Brandt on a charge. Going over the start finish straight, lap number 29 underway.
Yeah, Nico Brandt gets by very cleanly and carries much more speed than the poor TGs through turn 1. Now he should get a pretty good launch out of turn 2. Yep. And the speed and the power of Corvettes, they should carry him past Kimmo's car completely before the braking zone. Yep, nice clean pass from Nico Brandt, and gets past both cars in the involved in the leading battle of GT2s. And next up behind Kimmo is Ian Rogers, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, okay, so it's in these guys' best interest to get past these leaders, the GC2s, as quick as they can, so they don't want to drop off the pace of each other, because they need to catch up, they need to start fighting for positions again. I don't think that we've seen the end of this.
No, surely.
I think we've just seen another off track from Robert Lorry. I don't know how far he's gone off the circuit. Dropped down to, he's still in 7th position. Quite about 20 odd seconds off Stephen Van Helsington. You can see the very fast corners 11 and 12. Ian Rogers just can't get past Kimmo. But Kimmo doesn't want to lift because he'll have John Mallier right up behind him.
Yeah, I have to say that so far from what I've seen, Kimmo is having a better luck with dealing with the faster traffic, because every time they face the traffic, John Mallier has having to dealing with the faster Corvettes in the corner area and the tight corners, whereas Kimmo Suominen has had the almost lottery win. Every time he gets a GT or Corvette behind him, he has a long straight in front of him, so the Corvette doesn't cost Kimmo any time at all.
There we can see Ian Rogers just going past Dave Guyman as well, who's having a bit of a mare at the moment, and we can see Kimmo just come up to lap him as well.
Let's just sit on board with John Mallier for a second here. Still running in 2nd place, trying to chase down Kimmo Suominen, who so far has dominated every single race of the series, excluding Road America, where he had a funny moment with Toby Bushnell. Ooh, Kimmo goes very, very wide in through turn 9, but keeps his car in control. But that was just about as close as you can get to the grass without having David Peterson's destiny.
Okay, we found out what's caused up with Dave Guyman, just to see why he's so far behind from battling with Victor Bugnet. Very wide in that corner from Kimmo as well, and seen that happen a couple of times there where they just drifted wide and caught the grass. And Kimmo, great save from Kimmo.
Yeah, that corner is not only deceiving in the on the upper end, but when at the turn in, you have to brake early in order to get the car to turn in properly, right to the left side apex. But if you just miss your braking slightly, that does cost you a lot of lost speed, gain speed on the braking. So that means you're going to carry, you just have to miss like a car width of braking from your normal braking spot, and you go way too fast through that turn, and that turn comes in so fast that you simply, even though you drop down the gears, try to get the car to turn, it simply will not turn. You're lucky if you get the car to turn in enough to avoid the sand trap and the outside, because immediately if you go off the tarmac, immediately there's slippery grass. In fact, I think every corner around this racetrack has a slippery grass in front of them. I can't remember any corner having a sand right next to the corner.
No, that's quite dramatic racing and quite dramatic incidents as well, especially in the first lap between Peterson and Ward as well. I imagine there's some sand in the way that probably would have stopped the big damage. We see, John and Kimmo.
Yeah, both in the pits.
Pit lane.
So we're gonna have an onboard pit lane battle here. So both in a similar pit stop strategies, or maybe, yeah, I would. If I had to make a guess, I mean, we're just about 45 minutes into this race, so my personal guess would be that John Mallier, I don't know if he's in the same pit stop strategy than Kimmo was in terms of fuel, but John Mallier was not gonna be out on the track any longer than Kimmo was, so I would be betting 100 to 1 that as soon as he saw Kimmo pull into the pits, he just followed him, because we know how fast that outlap can be. And if John Mallier would have stayed out one lap longer, Kimmo would have capitalized on the with the better tires.
So we can see the nose tail in the pit lane next to each other, and Kimmo pulls away. John Mallier, they are close in the pit lane.
Yeah, faster pit stop for John Mallier there.
The speed limiter is off. They are rocketing out the pit lane now.
John gained a 0.9 of a second in that pit stop.
Just that is not a nice. That is not a nice exit. John Mallier almost being collected by Oliver Brandt there.
Yeah, that's a dangerous. Phillip Island pit lane exit is one of the most dangerous places in all of iRacing's tracks, because of that exact reason. When you come out of the pits, you have a very thin pit road that you have to follow not too fast, because otherwise you risk end up getting over the grass. But you have to lift right at the exit, and when you do that, you're just lacking speed compared to the other guys who are coming out of towards turn 1 on the track with flat out. So especially the Corvettes that do not lift that much, that's a scary place if you end up there at exactly the same time, because then you both have to react in a fraction of a second what to do in order to avoid someone. And we've seen throughout the time I've been with iRacing, there's been crashes in almost every single class that I've seen cars race around here.
That's going to add another bit of fuel to fire. We've got Toby Bushel in the pits as well. Stephen Van Helston and Robert Laurie have also pitted. Howard Esplan has had a bit of a off-track, still off the track. We've got to find out where that is. And we can see John Malley getting very close to Kimmo, just over the start.
He's right in the tail.
He's showing the inside, tucks himself back in wisely. This last corner on the circuit is a fly around corner number 1, and into corner number 2. Just saw him the previous lap just lock over on a braking at the back end. He's just so close, seeing as Kimmo appears to have gone long, but maybe he was just waiting for that Lady Apex to get the speed out of the exit onto back straight, or not quite back straight, more the side straight really.
Meanwhile, while we're watching the GT2 battle, we have a visitor in the booth. David Ward, can you read me?
Yeah, hi, how's it going?
We're doing great, but unfortunately it seems you're not doing so great in this race. So how did you see that lap 1 incident?
Yeah, we'll just have to see what the stewards say about it, really.
Very diplomatic, David. And how are you enjoying the race that's unfolding?
Yeah, it's interesting. Peterson seemed to be on a bit of a charge after the turn 1. And yeah, he seemed to be doing quite well. I'm enjoying the Chemo and John battle at the moment. Those guys seem to be going at it. Chemo just seems to have the pace on him. It should be interesting to see how it pans out.
And URS plan having some more grass, I believe. Doesn't look like, well, it looks like there's a bit of damage on his rear bumper. It looks like he's having a bit of trouble. Turn of that car as he spins, locks up and spins into corner number, I think that's corner number 4, so URS plan having an absolute mare at the moment on it, only in his 3rd race in the TFR SuperCup. I'll be taking it, I'm taking it you're going to use one of these, this race as your job week, David.
I think I've used all 4 so far. The last few races haven't really been going very well for me. Put a lot of time and effort in this week to get the car up to speed and get the setup right. Just really disappointed with not even being able to get around turn 1.
Well, that's absolute gutting blow, especially as you yourself and Farouk have been the stars of the field today, the fastest drivers out there. Shame to have it over and done with on the first lap.
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing. Pace of practice and was really up there, and we definitely had a chance for a win at this track.
Okay, so leader in pits, Farouk Manzar is in the pits.
So
at number 36.
My last question for David Ward before we let you go. Your predictions of winners of both classes?
Oh, it's going to be difficult for GT2. Yeah. My money's on Chemo. The guy's just unflappable. His pace will be there, and I think it's going to be. It could be between Farouk and Oliver for the GT1.
So that was the voice of David Ward, the team driver who drives the fine car. You had an unfortunate incident. David on lap number 1, corner number 1, which I'm sure will be the talk of the town after this race.
So meanwhile, the top three Corvettes, Oliver Brandt, Jason Brown, Nico Brandt, still haven't pitted. Meanwhile, the leader of the Corvettes, Farouk Manzar, just went into the pits. And that was a surprisingly long pit stop comparing to, for example, Steven Van Helsingen, whose pit stop was only 18.7 seconds. Farouk Manzar did 25.1 seconds.
Okay, so maybe some tactics at play there. We can see Kimo and John Malleus having their little formation battles there. I don't think Kimo wants him to get too close, but he's just driving quite within himself, I think.
Yeah, looking at their lap times, I don't think either one is saving an inch. I'm pretty sure these guys go flat out trying to increase the gap between each other, especially with the fact that once they reach the Corvettes again, if they're going to be lapped again, it's always an issue of I mean, how lucky are you in terms of the spot that the Corvette will pick to get past you, and if the spot is wrong and you're close to each other, it can immediately cost you a position. If you're like, let's say, below half a second, the Corvette dives on the inside of you, coming into a hairpin, and the guy behind you just follows the Corvette through the hairpin, and there's no way you can block that inside of the turn. That you can instantly lose a position. So my guess is that both of these guys are hammered down, going like as fast as they possibly can, but this seems to match each other's pace very nicely so far.
Oliver Brandt off. Oliver Brandt is off in corner number 9. Very, very long, and we might be able to get that on a replay, Yoni. He was struggling for that lap, but maybe his tyres are absolutely cooked. Oliver Brandt's currently in the lead as Farouk has pitted.
Yeah, let's have a look at what went on there. Just gonna look at the replay. Here we
go. He is now in the pits.
My personal guess would be the exact same thing that David Peterson suffered. He just goes slightly wide to the turn 9 approach, and that's all it takes to once the car just goes too wide over the certain limit, there's no way you can recover from that. And let's see, we're currently on board with Oliver here, approaching turn 9, the left-hander uphill. Here we go. He doesn't go inside just misses the braking spot, and as I said, once you miss the braking spot and you don't reach the inside apex immediately upon the turn-in, that's what happens.
Right, okay, so live situation. Oliver Brandt had come into pits, but straight behind him is Jason Brown and Nico Brandt. So we have second, third and fourth position are all in the pits, taking the pits at the same time. So we are going to see a lot of close fighting now between these guys. And I believe Oliver Brandt, disastrous, has had a speeding penalty. Well, I'm sure David S. Peterson will be doing a little jig in the cockpit now as he realises that Oliver Brandt's dent for the win of this race, and indeed a podium of this race, is now in jeopardy as they come out of the pit lane. Jason Brown still ahead of Nick, so Jason Brown has gone up to second place as Oliver Brandt will have to serve that penalty somehow.
Meanwhile, Farouk Manzar is back in the lead. I'm not sure if that gap is accurate, but that's insane. If that is correct, Jason Brown currently in second place is 33.6 seconds behind Farouk Manzar.
Well, before the shenanigans happens, we see are they lapping Steven Van Helsingen, or is Steven Van Helsingen actually?
Yeah, Steven gained 2 spots in the pits.
That's great from Steven. Obviously, Steven's been in the pits very early. Steven came in lap number 29, so Steven Van Helsingen back in the race.
Yeah, he did a 6 seconds shorter pit stop than anyone else in the Corvette field. Almost anyone else has 24, 25, 28 seconds, and Steven Van Helsingen has 18.7 seconds, so he won 6 seconds in the pits.
So we're going to see some amazing driving now, because already gone on the defensive, Steven Van Helsingen backing up the 2 Brandts, and the Brandts really want to get past this, because Oliver really needs to claim that position back, and Nico doesn't like to sit behind anyone.
Yeah, makes you wonder if Steven Van Helsingen took all 4 tyres.
And the Brandts are side by side. Sorry to interrupt. The Brandts are side by side on the start-finish straights, and Oliver on the outside, Nico on the inside. Just coming to corner number 2 now, and has Nico yielded, or is he just going to try and drive around the outside? He's yielded.
Yeah, that's the only possibility. There's no way around the turn 2 going too wide.
Oh, great race. Do you think that Steven took 2 tyres as opposed to 4 in the pit stop?
Yeah, I mean, 6 seconds is approximately, or 7 seconds is approximately the time that it takes for you to change the all your tires, but it also depends on the amount of fuel that you have to take. If he started with the race with a full tank of fuel, he just thought that that's his only option to gain places, to take 2 tires and just do a splash and dash of fuel. That's a possibility, but I'm not sure about that. But would seem weird that anyone else makes a 25-second pit stop.
Brown on the inside of corner number 9. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, he goes wide again.
Very wide.
Yeah, he goes off track
because it's very, very hard to catch.
Ooh,
close.
Almost collects Nico Brand over there. Yeah, and exactly the same thing all over again. Turn 9, late entry.
We've seen David S. Peterson capitalise from that as well, because Stephen Van Helsenden's moment of fame for 3rd position for a few laps just before that mistake that he was forced into making. And now David S. Peterson's back up into, I think that's 4th or 5th position for David. 4th position, so this is changing all the time, Jon. I keep interrupting you, I feel terrible.
Yeah, I'm not doing any better either. But yeah, I was in some of the races I've done with the Corvettes and the GTs, where the race distance have been 60 or 70 minutes, the amount of fuel needed, adding to the full tank of fuel, was so short that you actually had to gamble whether you only take fuel or whether you change the backside tires. So yeah, like I said, it depends on how much more fuel did Stephen Van Helstingen need for the initial fuel load, but it seems very weird that he was able to survive 6 seconds faster than all the rest of the field if he took all 4 tires. But considering his pace now that Nico and Oliver went past him, I would definitely put my money on either no tires at all or the backside tires.
Right, okay, so I reckon we've got just about 20 minutes left of the racing today, and I'm going to cut the shouts out as well, because Joost van den Hul, I hope I've not got your name right, he's given us a great amount of information. He is doing what Jarno and his Penguins normally do, and just keep an eye on what's going around the track. He's been our unofficial spotter for the day, and also Mr. Ward as well. He's given us some little tidbits of what's going on as well, because obviously he's unfortunate enough not to be racing after the first lap, but he's obviously telling us going on as well. So absolutely fantastic, guys. Thanks for the help. And if any of you guys watching on glaciertv.com just have a Twitter account, want to say hello or give us some abuse, we are on #TFR SuperCup.
And actually, currently watching the leaders of the GT2 field, I'm actually starting to think like Kimmo Suominen does that on purpose. He takes a huge gamble going every time with a wider entry into turn 9, but he gets the car to turn in better. So he gets to the very left-hand side of the exit of turn 9, so he gets a maximum approach towards turn 10. That's in my opinion, that's a gamble move every time you go wide into that corner, but he seems to nail it every time. Doesn't win him an insane amount of lap time though, because John Malia is still following him closely. 3/10 a sec. 3/10 a second. John Malia did.
It's that time of the lap, and we'll have to interrupt you because Jason Brown, Oliver Brown, getting very, very fighty for 2nd position. We have a battle now for 2nd position as they're getting caught up behind Victor Bugnet, just coming round into corner number 12 on the start finish straight. Oliver Brown takes, just rides the curbs, kicks up a bed of dust. He didn't want to get pushed out into Victor, who, just gone a little bit wide onto the grass. Very, very fight on the back straight. The gap between them now is just under about 400th of a second, so they are flying into turn number 1. And Oliver is using every bit of the track and more in his pursuit of Jason Brown for 2nd position. And behind them, Nico's still there. Nico hasn't really ever gone away in this race. He's always been in or about a fight with someone for another position, and then behind him as well we still have David S. Peterson on a charge to regain a podium position. So we can see, just run up in the corner number 4 now, Oliver Brandt just catching Jason Brown under braking, as you see. He's in the tail on the way out. Now this will line him up hopefully if he gets around corner number 6 satisfactorily, and they're going to go through corner number 7 and 8, and eventually corner number 9 is going to arrive, and that's going to be the be all and end all of are they going to be on the track at the end of the lap, because they are going to be fighting.
Yeah, you can actually set up a pass coming uphill of turn 9 right here. If you get the car to turn in well at the inside curb and you have the timing right, you can floor it approaching turn 10 in order to get too wide coming into turn 10. But there's always a risk of when you take the inside line, you have to brake slightly earlier, because if you take a normal brake line, you're in a serious risk of going too wide on the exit and the midpoint of the turn 10. But yeah, that is a possibility. I've personally done two questionable passes. One of which I clipped the other car. In one case I didn't, but both look pretty similar. But yeah, it's always a dangerous move going too wide in there.
So the doghouse system car of Jason Brown absolutely fight for his life now. They've got a bit leery on the start-finish straight, and Oliver just showed himself on the inside. He's going to show himself again. Corner number 4, side by side. As you see him in the mirror, it's very close.
Yeah, Jason Brown just brakes so early into that turn 4. I completely understand how Oliver Brandt just dive into the turn 4, because Oliver took a normal braking line, whereas Jason Brown braked so early. I was actually surprised. It almost looked like a back marker giving room. That's an interesting. Same thing with the turn 9 here. He brakes very much earlier than Oliver Brandt.
He regains the position, and Oliver's still all over him. Nico also had a little look up.
Only looks out inside into turn 10. Just like I was saying, you can go too wide, but it's so risky. But it seems like Oliver Brandt is pulling it off.
And has Oliver got the traction up to take corner number 11, corner number 12? And will you run wide? Will you get the left of space as well? Just almost about to close. Jason Brown's had to back off just to come into that corner and not be pushed out wide. So the position for second place has been taken. Jason Brown is now in third position, has crossed line 4. Lap number 45. Nico Brandt is looking fine. It's Jason Brown just shows himself once on the inside there. Also defending into the corner number 1 from Nico Brandt, and into corner number 2 as well. Don't leave me room. Doesn't want to dive bomb you, as Nico Brandt just has to go around the outside now. Catch a bit of traction, as we've seen Kimmo do all day in that GT2, and we are still nose to tail, second and fourth position.
Yeah, currently watching an instant replay of that too wide going through turn 10, and still too wide going into the last turn, and both giving each other exactly the amount of room they need to get through that corner safely. Excellent passing from Oliver Brandt there, just took it to perfection.
So, 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Nico Brandt and David Peterson. So David is going to be catching us. We've seen Jason Brown just try and get enough traction, try to get alongside Oliver Brandt and Nico. Come on, Nico, catch up, mate. Get involved in this as well. We want to see a lovely little three-way happen. These are the closing, because we are 1 hour 9 in of a 1 hour 20-minute race. We have about 10, 11, 12 minutes left of the race. So these guys are going to be racing full position, racing for the podium and the highest step on it. Farouk Manzar currently 35 seconds in the lead, which is a fantastic race, and Farouk is getting himself pretty much nose clean throughout. Oh, sorry, I tell a lie. 24 minutes left. Sorry, my maths is terrible. Right, so we see some absolutely belting passes now as they start lap number 46. They take a little sweep across the start finish straight, and Oliver Brandt, second position, flies in the corner number 1. Just a little bit of space on Jason Brown now. That just allows Nico to catch up with Jason again.
Meanwhile, the GT2 leading battle is still heating up. Well, John Malia doesn't give anything for free for Kimmo. Half a second, and these guys have been lapping a consistent 0.234 for the last 10 laps. Now they have
once again
they have a lapping Corvette coming behind them. Neither guy.
And that.
I would take a guess that the Corvette is going to fly past both of these guys in the front straight.
Yeah, that lapping Corvette is Christian Nuzlan, who is currently in 8th position in GT1 class. Ooh, he gets right down the inside, and just to get the toe, start finish, as Yoni said, try and get past. Malia gives him enough space. Now hopefully he'll give him space. Corner number 1, which he has done.
And now it looks like yeah, I kept saying that Kimmo has been a lucky dog, but it looks like Kimmo is going to be the suffering part in this half. Well, it doesn't seem so, because the Corvette is taking a very outside line into turn 2, but it doesn't, unless he gets caught. Yeah, he gets Kimmo right under braking. This is going to cost Kimmo a lot of time, because he cannot turn into the corner as he would like to. This gives John Malia excellent option to drive to the inside, and it goes to too wide. Nope,
Kimmo has to cut off nose.
Yeah, John Malia just backs off, but that was just what I was saying, that if the Corvette dives in and cuts you off from diving touching the inside curve, and the guy following you closely just follows the Corvette through. That's a risk that is always involved when the two cars are that close to each other fighting.
Okay, so Christian Nuzlan has successfully navigated himself past John and Kimmo, and the formation driving continues between these two guys. And it was good that John just had to back off there. Kimmo just cut his nose off, ran a little bit defensive, just said, "Hey mate, you ain't coming back that way." They start their lap 46. Currently 2 laps back from the leaders, which I think is a testament to these 4GT drivers, because currently, I believe, all the first 4 positions are just 2 laps behind the leaders, so running a very, very good race today.
Indeed, and from the GT2 side, the race has been fairly clean. Dave Keimer has suffered some issues during the race, and a couple of other GTs are out of the race, but overall no crashings or multi-class incidents, especially as we used to see around Phillip Island in the Proto GT series. But yeah, excellent driving from the whole field actually, not just the GTs but the Corvettes as well.
But we see this quite a lot in the TFR SuperCup, because obviously it is actively stewarded, so very, very high requirement of driver standards in the TFRs. Kimmo just goes a little bit close. That's going to allow John Mallia to close up even further now as they come into turn number 8, just over the crest into turn number 9. Mallia very, very close, just had to back off on that corner.
Yeah, but Kimmo makes a slight mistake coming out of the turn 10 and gives Mallia the chance to catch right back up. Now if Mallia can just read the corner right, because he doesn't see the apex from behind Kimmo's car, good, but if he gets a proper run out of the corner, he might have a slipstream at the end of the front straight.
Oh, Kimmo looking very fine. We've also got the battle for 3rd position between Jason Brown, Nico and David S. Peterson, who has now caught them up, developing as well, so hopefully we'll choose the right battle to join on to, and then maybe flip across to the other one if we see anything sort of happening.
Yeah, David's still looking very racy despite his off-track visit in turn 9.
And we can see Nico absolutely pushing on to Jason Brown now. Just coming down into corner number 2 for these 2 guys. Dave Guy pulls out the way to let these 2 guys past. And we've seen Nico do this all throughout the day with these 2 guys. These 2 guys have been there or thereabouts all the way through the race, and we've got a little treat for you as well, because at the end of this lap we'll go on board with David S. Peterson, just see what David's seen with this battle ahead. Just go through corner number 8 there. And we are going into corner number 11, corner number 12. They're not as close as they were in the previous 2 laps. Last lap for Nico was 1:24.814. Let's see what he does again for this lap. 1:26.195, a little bit slower. So, on board with David S. Peterson going to corner number 1 as he catches Nico Brown. Now we can see the differences between the transition to 1 and 2 is 4. Look at that, Nico just trying to tuck himself in right into Jason as they sweep through corner number 3 in a minute, and then into the heavy braking zone of corner number 4. Nico's perfectly happy just to sift the apex there, just to carry the momentum and the speed. Now got to obviously defend, goes right up the inside, trying to get a different line. They're trying to push out and at the same time defend from David, but at the same time try and just look for an opportunity to sneak past Jason. Tell you what, Johnny, it looks closer in here than it does out there.
Sorry, was that for me?
Right, okay, so yeah. We are going through the sweep now, and they're just behind Toby Bushnell. So I wonder if David S. Peterson's on the blower saying, "Back him up, Toby, back him up. Give him as hard time as you can as possible, because I'm coming through."
Yeah, this corner is not the place where you want to be in front of three Corvettes battling for positions.
Oh, did you see him sweep out from one toe to the other? Now nose and tail. Nico just takes a look at the inside. David S. Peterson just closes the door now, so we are start lap number 51, and Nico looks on the outside, then sweeps back into the inside, but committing that early is left.
Oh, we got a touch!
Oh, slide.
David clips Nico Brandt's rear end and causes Toby Bushnell to go wide.
And what happened there was the entrance to that corner number 2. Nico didn't have a very good entry, and as a result, he lost a lot of ground, and David just couldn't stop mid-corner enough for him, and that's caused a concertina effect. And looks like who's come out worse from that? Toby Bushnell.
Yeah, that turn 2 is such an amusing corner because you have +1 different ways to go through that corner without possibly losing any time compared to one style or another. But it depends totally on how you set up your car, because even a pushy car you can get the car to turn in at the following the inside curve or the inside edge, but you have to sort of force your car to turn in while with tapping the brakes slightly through the complex. But if your car is oversteery, you can just steer through the corner with basically with just the throttle. So that's a funny corner, uphill and downhill, and just at the exit, the track just halfway disappears from underneath the car. So yeah, I would think that I would guess that Nico's car is slightly differently set up than David's car, and he was just forced to basically take a slightly different entry or approach through the corner, and David was just unprepared for that.
Talk about a different entry next time round. Nico takes a long, a wider first entry, and then the second apex just tightens right up, just trying to get the run back up on Jason Brown. And well, it's a case of take the needle off the record, put it back into the style of the record, and then play it again, because these boys have it all to do again now. And further up ahead, they are catching ever so slightly, maybe Oliver Brand, although Oliver did a 125.7 in his last lap. Jason's doing 126.3, Nico's done a 126.6 and 127.335 from the error-prone David S. Peterson. So when I say they're catching, they're not really, it's just a trick of the eye.
Yeah.
Going back to the lead of GT2s, looks like the gap between Kimmo and John has grown to about sort of a couple of seconds now. They've allowed themselves to get a little bit of a breathing space between them for probably the first time today.
Yeah, the gap has been like between 0.8 of a second and down to 0.3 of a second almost the entire race, including the pit stop laps when they both entered at the same time. And this is by far the best challenge that Kimmo's faced so far in the TFR SuperCup season.
Looks like Oliver Brand has spin him, turn number 1. Look, no, just went very long in the corner number 1, just touched a lot of the grass and had a bit of a problem exiting corner number 2 actually. So he has knocked off, and it's allowed Jason Brown to catch him up just a little bit.
And meanwhile, the battle for third place is still heating up. Yep.
Peterson has passed. And contact going to corner number 2.
Yeah, that was uncalled for. That was also almost a stupidity move, in my opinion, from Nico Brand. That was not how you're supposed to react on that kind of situation. He was basically the underdog going into that turn, and he just totally overdrove that corner. Let's have a look at the replay. And that was not the kind of action you would expect to see from cars that have been battling so fair, so hard through the whole race.
So, my bad, that happened at corner number 4 where David just got the run up, got alongside and allowed on the exit Nico just to get his nose in. That happened, oh that was terrible, we saw that. And well, David this time managed to catch a little bit of sand because that stopped him from hitting the wall, and he's had to join back. And interesting, maybe I wouldn't say payback, that's not the way it works around here, but maybe a bit of a I can't say the words. I don't know cast any dispersions, but very damaging for David. We're going to see a bit of damage on both of those cars now.
Actually, while looking at the chopper helicopter view replay from that incident, I'm not actually certain whether David Peterson just braked slightly early or did Nico Brandt just dive bomb on him, because despite of hitting David's car, Nico was able to take the very inside line of the turn, and that's not something you are able to do if you just take a approach that corner too fast. They went too wide into that turn, right? Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear after the race from if we get a word from David Peterson how exactly did he approach that corner, because for me it looked like David just went on the brakes slightly earlier than Nico Brandt.
Okay, we certainly didn't close the door, but then Nico did take quite an aggressive little move there. Maybe that's one for the stewards to talk about later, and
yeah, surely
read that stewards report. So what we do know is that the first three are absolutely cemented. Farouk Manzar first position, second is Oliver Brandt, and third is Jason Brown.
And meanwhile, John Malia has caught right back up to Kimmo Suominen. Again, has actually taken the lead. Right as I jump to the follow Kimmo Suominen, John Malia has taken the lead. I'm betting it has something to do with that Corvette. Let's see if I have a look at instant replay of exactly what went on there. If we manage to catch where the overtaking took place. Nope, slightly further back. Yeah, currently on the replay here, following Kimmo and John coming towards turn 4 here, and Kimmo still in the lead, takes a normal entry into turn 4, and yep, just as I said, the Corvette just dives on the inside, cuts Kimmo from diving into the inside of the curb, and John Malia follows the Corvette through the corner and takes the lead.
And was that Corvette the one that belonged to Oliver Brandt?
Might have been.
Then the story is completely seen. Oh, big battle now between David S. Peterson and Nico Brandt, right behind Kimmo.
This is going to be a thriller. Both leading duo and places 4 and 5 in the GT1 class, and neither one of these guys want to give anything for free, because now if Kimmo gets too far behind from John Malia, he misses the opportunity to set up any passes in the late stages of the race.
While Nico's alongside Kimmo, we've got Stephen Van Helsingen just taking the inside of David S. Peterson. What an opportunist move there from Stephen. And he's still got the run. He's running right up behind Nico now. And all of a sudden Nico has to look at his rear view mirror, because there was a matte black Corvette behind him instead of the TFR liveried machine of David S. Peterson. So he's there going, what on earth's going on? I've got these fighting. These GT2s are fighting for position. I'm trying to get past them as quick as I can, because I've got a charging down Peterson, who I've had a bit of a ding-dong battle with all day. They're coming to corner number 4, and all of a sudden Stephen Van Helsingen's there. And we've seen Stephen do this quite a lot. He shoots up, he catches up, he takes advantage, and then eventually he drops off, has an accident, everyone passes him again. But what a fantastic race from Stephen Van Helsingen.
Yeah, and as they were going through turn 2 there, I was actually noticing that David was also in the verge of hitting Kimmo Suominen's car to the rear, which almost gave me an indication that David's car is just... Oh, David goes very wide in turn 9! Keeps it under control this time around, but as I was saying, seems like David's car has been set up exactly how I said, that he is able to steer his car through the turn 2 with throttle, and if some guy is unable to do that, which 4 TTs are unable to do, that gives him such a speed boost when everyone else has to tap the brake and he's on the throttle, that I would think that was a similar reason that caused him to slam Nico Brandt's rear a couple of laps ago.
So we can see the drive door of David S. Peterson's car is a little bit dirty. It's had a little bit of rubbing on it. This is an absolutely fantastic racing we're seeing here from Phillip Island. Will Vincent, where on earth are you? You should be here. You should be here, man. You should be here watching this. David S. Peterson called up massively with John Malia there as he just comes out of the slipstream into corner number 3. He's got to follow through. He's on the outside of the follow through. It's going to be very interesting. He will hold on. It's a very valid line to take. He's just come down to corner number 4 now, and he needs to catch Stephen Van Helsingen. Yeah,
that gave Kimmo Suominen the chance to catch right back up to John Malia, and John Malia was actually in a desperate position right there. He had to choose whether to brake slightly earlier to let the Corvette pass before the turn-in, or to follow through the turn-in with the Corvette, and the problem with both cases would be that Kimmo just gonna fly right past him. But John saves the day for now.
So for that moment, we were then going which battle to watch, and all the battles in all in one place. That was absolutely fantastic. We had a battle for 4th position, 4th, 5th and 6th position, then we had a battle for the GT2s as well, right in front of your eyes, all your viewers' eyes, on glaciertv.com. We are watching the TFR SuperCup. We are currently 58 laps in, and I will try and get a quick rundown of the positions, but they keep changing throughout the race. In the GT1s, Farouk Manzar, 1st position, Oliver Brand, series leader, 2nd position, Jason Brown 3rd, and 4th position where the fight is going on at the minute is Nico Brands. 5th is Stephen Van Helsingen.
Ooh, too wide going through turn 2 with Kimmo and the lapping Corvette.
Well, as I said absolutely before, this won't die. This race will not die. As we see Ian Rogers just trying to get past John Malley there, coming to score number 4. And we can see also David Peterson's getting so much closer now to Stephen Van Helsingen.
As we're currently riding on board with Kimmo Suominen and trying to chase John Malia, and that was a scary thing to see. Right as they were going into turn 2, Kimmo just actually overtook the Corvette in the middle of turn 2. That was quite a risky move from Kimmo, and well, he's all out for it now. He catches John Malia very quickly as they come into turn 9 here. Uphill, and this time, as we can see, both guys taking as far to the left to the car as possible to get the maximum entry into turn 10 here. But Kimmo is on a charge right here as we're about 6 minutes to go. And remember, as you can see the counter going into 0 at the bottom right of the screen, be sure to let it back up about 4.5 minutes, and then we can expect the white flag to be waved to the leaders.
And this race is not over yet, because this is an absolute barnstorming drive from Kimmo. You can see as we sit on board with him, he has to absolutely saw the wheel of that Ford GT, especially as he's going through the slower corners, just to try and get the rotation. And we saw it when he went over corner number 9 there, just when it went very, very light. You see him try and close up to John Malley now, and just taking a really tight line, feathering the throttle, trying to get the power down. Just it comes over that little bit of crest in corner number 2, and they're going to fly it now through quite quick.
Yeah, excellent exit out of turn 2, and Kimmo has a run on him as they come into turn 4.
So will he show it? Will he show his heart? He has. He just dipped back. He's just dipped back. Thought about it. Didn't want to die from it. He's actually sat on the podium. He's won the championship. This guy's fighting for 2nd position in the championship. John Malley straight ahead. The last TFR SuperCup race at Phillip Island, John Malley won. So it looks, will he get that win on today's visit to Phillip Island? Tim just coming through the sweep now, and Kimmo's got him in the grass. We see he just kicks up a little bit of dirt there. Bit of a twitch, under braking now for corner number 9 again. You see the light, it's going to get very, very light on the wheel just as they come over the crest, much like the corkscrew, as they come right down the hill now. And big red afterburn brakes from that 4GT of John Malley in front. Very close now. So this is now from corner number 10, where you want to get the run on to the number 11 and 12, and then on to the start finish straight. It's just too far behind. As you can see then, another little wiggle from John Malley. These guys are absolutely on it today, absolutely on it. Yeah,
this is by far the best battle we have so far in the track. We have about 4 minutes left in the race, with Farouk Manzar still in the lead, 28 seconds the difference to Oliver Brand in 2nd place, Jason Brown in 3rd, Nico Brand 4th, David S. Peterson 5th, 6th right now. Stephen Van Helsingen is past David Peterson, so Stephen 5th, David 6th, Ian Rogers 7th, Christian Newsland is 8th, and as we see in the screen right here, the battle for GT2 is far from over in terms of lead. John Malia is in the lead, Kimmo Suominen follows him closely in 2nd, Toby Bushnell in 3rd, Victor Bubniak in 4th, and the last remaining car on the track, David Geimer in 5th. Absolutely unbelievable racing. We still sit on board watching Kimmo, and he's absolutely driving the wheels off that thing. You can see him just sawing the wheel just to try and get the power down as well. That was lost quite a little bit of time there through the flowing corners 7 and number 8. And he did manage to leave a little bit of brakes up in the corner number 4 earlier, but that's come a little bit unstuck, so go over that corner. Is he going to just show himself? No, still not close enough. Now you really need to be too wide or take a wide entry coming out of turn 9 in order to have a run on coming down that steep downhill into turn 10. That's the braking is so difficult to that turn because the downhill is so drastic, and if you just miss the braking just by an inch, you tend to go very wide out of that turn, and that's not something you want to do because getting your car back on the track is hard.
Kimo's seen the white flag. How close are we to the flag?
I would say about 2 minutes.
2 minutes away from the flag. Moves nice close. We're going to see a last gasp effort from Kimo's. He's all over the back of John Mallia now. Mallia has to just move over to defend. Oh, Kimo, this is very, very close racing.
Yeah, I cannot get much closer than this. These guys have been all at it ever since the green flag. These guys have just been doing this for 90 minutes straight. Both guys must be steaming in their helmets.
Okay, so this is 59, lap number 59 for Kimo. Going to manage to stick his nose inside. Mallia has a little look there, thinks about it. Just the temptation now, it's so late in the race, the temptation to dive bomb is there, but Kimo just resists, just errs on the side of caution.
Yes, currently we're the last minute before we get the white flag, if I'm not mistaken here. So if looking for, can I have a look at Rob very quickly where Farouk Manzar is on the track right now?
And Farouk is just coming out corner number 9. Corner number 10 even, so just coming round onto the 11 and 12. Dave Geimer appears to have retired so late in the race, Dave.
So that's going to be a trivia. Will he get the white flag this time around or not? That's going to be close. My personal guess is that he will not get the white flag this time around.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. Also keep an eye on John Mallia, who's corner number 4. I think that is just defending quite heavily from Kimo again.
Yeah, I don't think Farouk Manzar has the white flag yet because he came across the start and finish line with about 3:55 in the clock. So my guess is that this is the second to last lap for the whole field, including Kimo and John.
A big dust cloud in front. Okay, so is the white flag. Yeah, that's the thing. Ever so sorry about this, guys. The telemetry that we get for iRacing counts upwards from the session as opposed to from the green flag, so it gets a little bit confusing.
Just gonna wait and see. And Farouk Manzar is coming into the main straightaway right here, and my guess is that now is the time to get the white flag.
Takes the checkered flag.
Takes the checkered flag right here?
Yep, that's absolutely the flag. You'll see Oliver Brandt coming round. Oh, which corner is he? Number 8. He's just coming into corner number 8 now for Oliver Brandt. An excellent drive from Oliver. Stephen Van Helsingen. Has he run out of fuel? Van Helsingen from...
Yeah, he's very slow lap time last time
around. So he is feathering that car, trying to get round, maybe upshifting quite a lot, and trying to get round towards the end of the race in one piece. So I believe Christian Nusslein is a lap behind him, so he will finish.
Currently, the GT2 leaders are currently coming the last time around towards turn 9 and turn 10. Whether Kimo is going to have a look, no, doesn't have the time. Both guys at the very limit of the car. Both cars sliding sideways. But it looks as though John Mallia has done enough to secure the victory in this race, unless he fails completely coming out of the last turn. Looks like John Mallia has done enough to beat Kimo for the second time in this race during this season.
And they just pass the rolling Stephen Van Helsingen over the line. So stand up on your feet, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause to John Mallia and Kimo Surin for an absolutely barnstorming race for the GT2s and round number 10 of the TFR SuperCup. Time to take you through your classification. The Q1 class, the winner was Farouk Manzar, 1 hour 30:44. Second position was Oliver Brand, 40 seconds behind, 42 seconds behind. Farouk was our third place. Jason Brown, fourth position Nico Brand, fifth was David Peterson, sixth Ian Rogers, seventh is the almost fuelless Stephen Van Helsenden, eighth is Christian Nislane, in ninth position Robert Laurie, and one of the retired, in fact Robert Laurie was our first retiree from the GT1, so Robert Laurie, Istvan Balog, David Ward and Gary Hickman all retired from the race. In fact Gary did not start. For the GT2s, our Victor went to last year's Victor as well, John Mallia. Second position went to Kimo Sirinen. Third is Toby Bushlaw, a gentleman we didn't really talk about throughout the race. Fourth was Victor Bubnek. Fifth was our first retiree from the GT2s, Dave Geimer, who pretty much went 3-4 laps short of race distance. And then Hua Espeland, Eric Vidorf, William Piner didn't finish, and Mark Bird, although listed, didn't start. Well, Yoni, what an absolute fabulous race.
Yeah, that was an understatement. Lots of action, both overtakings, off tracks, crashes, basically the whole 9 yards.
Right, now I'm wondering whether we should actually interview these guys or we should just all get them into the commentary booth and let them have an argument. I know which one I'll prefer to listen to.
You decide.
Yeah, right, okay, so who have we got to interview at the minute? We have, I believe we have Oliver and Toby at the minute. Which one should we do first? I don't have to make the decision. Decision's been made for me. Welcome to the commentary booth, Oliver Brands.
Hey, thank you very much.
So, Oliver, let's face it was a great race.
It was a fantastic race to view, I'm sure, but I'm not too proud of my performance, to be honest. I was going pretty good in the beginning. I could push some pressure on Rook. I think I had the legs on him at the beginning there, but just couldn't keep my head in it. I was just all worn out. I had coming off a 12-hour shift from work, so I couldn't keep up.
And how happy are you with the fact that towards the end of the race you absolutely managed to be able to get away from Jason Brown? You kept on creeping up on Jason and Nico again. You just had to get past them all over again. But how happy are you that finally you're able to break free of those guys and not make many mistakes?
Well, that was key, really, for pushing really hard out of the pits there. Because I was completely off it at that point. I spun it 2 times on my in-lap, and I was speeding going into the pits, and I got an 18-second penalty. It was all terrible driving. I got out where I deserved to be, at the back, in 5th place somewhere.
And before you made that pit stop, we saw that you were having a bit of a trouble on the track with your tyres. Absolutely now, because we saw just a few corners. You kept on showing us off tracks, and you certainly had a little bit of trouble getting back into pit lane.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just superheated my rear tires, or my setup was wrong somehow, and it didn't feel like it was working too good on low fuel loads. I'll need to have a look into that later. But coming out of the pits, it was just all about getting positions between me and David Peterson for the championship. Really, whatever happened in front of me was irrelevant at that point.
Fantastic. We've also been joined by Mr. Peterson. Welcome, Mr. Peterson.
Hi there.
Well, you've had quite an eventful race, Mr. Peterson. How did you find it?
It was, it was definitely a very eventful race. On the downside, I knew that the championship was over the moment that Ward shoved me off the track at turn 1, lap 1. That I still had some hope, because last season I'd been able to come back from a similar sort of incident, I suppose, with a damaged car and make it up through the field and almost took the win at the end of the race. And this race, I was like, okay, well, I'm tossed back all the way completely to the end, past the GT2 cars and everything. So no holding back. Here's me with the candle, not just burning at both ends, but held the whole thing's under a torch.
Oh, fantastic! And we saw quite a lot coming together. You had a little ding dong with one of the who was it? One of the other ones. I should make notes of these things. But we had we had a very action-packed race. But you well, you can't be that happy with fifth position, but certainly with the amount of drama that went on with the race, are you happy that you managed to complete it?
Yeah, I was happy with that. The only thing I was really kicking myself for is that I'd made it up to third, and finally made a mistake in traffic, and really I think I'd been pretty lucky that things had gone so well for me up to then, because I was taking lots and lots of risks, just burning it like crazy. Finally screwed it up trying to go around Malia and off into the grass and facing the wrong direction, and that lost me all sorts of time. And if I had known, because I was still in go mode, because I thought Oliver's still up there, and I think he's also carrying more fuel than me. I've really got to get up to him. I can't spend time behind these GT2 cars. If I had known how things were going to turn out, then I could have gone to my normal conservative mode at that point, and that probably would have put me into second place in this race. But oh well.
Looking back as well, when you came off of corner number 9, which a lot of people struggled on corner number 9 coming down into corner number 10, you were very lucky not to hit the wall. You were not that far off it.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately the car turned farther than I could correct for. But yeah, I suppose I was lucky to not hit the wall, though. I mean, at that point, I was really in such a do or die mode anyway. I think I wasn't even all that aware of the wall.
Okay, and looking back as well, you had a little bit of contact with Nico Brandt just when Nico missed the first bit of the apex, and it caused him to back up, and a little bit of a love tap. But then later on in the race, we saw that Nico just appeared to just come inside you, and you caught each other at corner number 2. And just how much damage that did to your car?
Each of these contacts was messing up my car a bit, and after, let's see, and I guess, yeah, so that was corner 2, where I tapped Nico and then he recovered from it. I was really glad that he recovered from it, because I did not want that to take him out. That was not intentional. He got a little sideways in front of me, and you can't pull out of it around that turn without going out yourself. So, I was going to feel real bad about it if that knocked him off the track. But later, when I got around him at the hairpin, and then I'm not sure what happened, where he went inside or something and it shoved me out onto the grass. I don't know whose fault that was, but my car was too messed up to attack anymore after that.
Okay, so and then purely consolidated for 5th position. Well, thank you very much, David Peterson, for your time and racing today. Congratulations on the 5th position, and just bringing in another driver now for the GT1s. I think it's our last driver for the GT1s today. Probably a gentleman who's very happy that Nico and David did come together at the end, because this man, Jason Brown, didn't have had a lot of defending to do at some stages for the race, but you drove an absolutely barnstorming race and you finished in 3rd position, so congratulations, Jason.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's easily my best finish in this league.
Absolutely. How did you find the race?
It was actually a great race from my point of view. I had a lot of good battles with Ian, Nico, and Oliver. I know there was a lot of contact with some other guys, and I got into the back of somebody early on, but other than that, it was a great race from my point of view.
Well, I can certainly say that from the sort of 5 or so drivers we've got in the channel today, there's not a lot of you who are going to be able to sleep tonight. You must have some absolute adrenaline kicking around between you.
No, definitely.
Right, okay, so that's your 3rd position. Is this your first podium in TFR?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Oh, congratulations. Right, okay, so now on to the GT2s, and well, we're very lucky to have the champion for the Super Cup, the lesser spotted Kimmo Sirinen. Welcome, Kimmo.
Thanks.
You drove a very good race with John Malia, who showed that he's very quick around Phillip Island. How did you find the battle today?
Yeah, first of all, big congratulations to John. it was a fantastic race. I had a lot of fun in that, and although I finished second, I still can't be mad at all. Just happy to race to have such a good race.
And it must be good to find someone that's able to actually catch you throughout some of these races.
Oh well, yeah. It's always good to have a tight race, and this one was a really great one. So yeah, it was really fun.
And what you viewers don't realise at the moment is that the fellow Finn Jonny Batman is giving me a lot of abuse. He's quite happy that Kimmo lost today, so there's obviously quite a lot of banter going.
Jonny, shut up.
There's quite a lot of banter going on today in the Glacier TV booth at the moment. We are also joined by John Mallier. Here's Johnny. So we've got the first two drivers of the GT2s together today. Well done, Johnny. Congratulations on your win. And is Mr. Mallier here? Gone for a lie down, Kimmo. That's what you've made him do. Okay, so we'll just move over, and Jonny, and we'll bring in our third position and series director stroke runner, Mr. Bushnell. Hello, Toby, you here?
Hello, I am indeed.
And Fatty, you're a bit quiet. Well, you're on the other side of the house.
Nope, how's that? I'll try shouting.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, nice. Well, nice. How did you find your race, Toby?
It was a lot of fun. I couldn't quite live with John and Kimmo. I finished about 20 seconds behind them, but yeah, I mean, what happened to Kimmo? He's won the title, and obviously the rock star celebrity lifestyle's gone through his head already.
Fantastic. Well, we didn't really have much time to talk about you today, Toby, because you had a bit of a quiet race. But there was one time where you got flooded by a battle for I think it's third, fourth, and fifth position with the GT1s. And how scary was it with those three cars coming by you?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I was thinking if my race was going to end, that's where it was going to be. It was, yeah, not too much to talk about. Bit of a dull race for me in terms of competition for other drivers. Obviously a shame to see Eric taken out quite early, but a lot of fun just pushing all the way and some fantastic battles despite a scrappy start, it looked like.
And this looks good, quite good for your Constructors' Championship as well, because obviously Dave Geimer just dropped out with about 2, 3, 4 laps left, so you're going to claw some points back onto Team Shark.
Yeah, that's the aim. I was actually thinking about that during the closing laps. It's that's the big target for Stefan and I for the rest of the season, is just to try and overhaul the Geimers, which is going to be a real challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, because they are some absolutely fantastic, consistent drivers. So, right, okay, so what we need to find out now is that next week we're running on to Mosport, and then we close off the series, week number 12, with Road Atlanta, and I wonder if Mr. Bushnell will give us just a couple of minutes to tell us about what's going on in week 13.
Week 13, so we've got an event called Green Heaven as opposed to Green Hell, because that name's already taken. But the pattern is a Ford GT, Corvette and Riley race around VIR Grand East, which is a very twisting, unforgiving circuit. Lots of runoff, but a thin circuit, and a 2-hour race around there, so it's going to be very exciting, and that's around our same sort of time Saturday slot, so looking forward to a good grid for that one.
Right, well, fantastic then. Right, so what I do want to say, I want to bring Jonny back into the room, and is Jonny there?
Yep.
And he's back in the room. Right, okay, so we're going to do a drive of the day very quickly, and we have got a lot of the drivers obviously in the commentary booth today as well, so I hope none of them gets too annoyed. But Jonny, who's your driver of the day?
Kimmo Suominen for losing the race.
I love you. I love you.
That was a great race, Kimmo. Great race.
Well, mine's going to go to Mr. Mallier because someone beat Kimmo, so well done, John.
Thank you very much. I'm a big fan of you guys. I watch the broadcast every week. I think you guys are awesome, by the way.
My ego absolutely loves that, and I'm sure Will, if he gets a chance to watch this, is crying into his sugar puffs or something like that.
John, I have to say, you really made my day.
Thanks, Jonny. I really tried really hard, and if it wasn't for that little bobble with traffic, I don't think I'd ever been able to pass. Kimmo was awesome.
Yeah, I actually called that pass a couple of laps earlier than it happened. I called that if a Corvette interferes with when they're closer to each other, and the Corvette just blocks the inside of turn 4, the guy in front is going to lose the place.
I was actually sitting behind for more than a lap, just trying not to do it, and I figured, alright, I can't quit them both at once, I'll just have to try and get the John here into this one. And I completely gapped it, there's absolutely no grip on the inside of that corner, and I just shot straight on. Luckily Kimo was aware of it, and sort of got out the way of my mishap.
Right,
Yeah,
okay. So, just what we're going to do now is that we've drive the day, we're obviously stuck in the GT2 field. One more thing, I will give one person one shout out to whoever they know that's watching. No one wants to shout out.
I'll shout out to my my girlfriend April, that has been so supportive of my racing.
Right, okay, so that's one semi-emotional shout out. Congratulations guys, thanks very much for joining us today, and we will see you next week at Mosport, and we will bring the event to a close now. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Rob Sutherland, and hopefully we'll be back next week. And my colleague over here is Jonny Backman.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks to all the drivers, and always pleasure to broadcast the TFR and the other series that we're involved in at the moment. And tune in to couple of hours from now, and there's a CESCS broadcast from Mid-Ohio, 90 minutes of multicast racing. Until then, see ya.